your time. Fox 11 Tucson Now. News at 9.
Right now on Fox 11 Tucson Now, after taking the holiday off, the monsoon returns with a vengeance to southern Arizona, bringing heavy rains and high winds.
I know, power poles and large trees knocked down by fierce wind gusts. We all saw it happen. We have live team coverage of the storm damage tonight, the water rescues, and the latest on the power outages.
And how long will the storm activity last? First Alert meteorologist Dan Bronis has your weekend forecast. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Craig Thomas.
And I'm Heather Owen for Teresa Jen. We are beginning with breaking news tonight as rescue crews are still out working to save some people from rushing water.
Fox 11's Kevin Adger is live at Golf Links in Pantano, where a successful rescue just wrapped up. Kevin.
That is correct, Craig and Heather. What a day, what an evening, and what a night for our first responders, including Tucson Fire, Tucson Police. Yeah, I'm here at Golf Links in Pantano on the southeast side, right in front of the Pantano Wash. And we have some video of that rescue. And here's what happened. A woman in her 20s was walking her dog along the wash, and then she decided to go down into the wash and look around. She was looking around for a while, and then the rushing water came, and she was stuck. She was basically on an island by herself, surrounded by water. She didn't have a cell phone, but thankfully a passerby saw her, yelled and asked if she needed help. She said yes. The passerby called 911, and Tucson Fire arrived, and they rescued her. About 7 firefighters went into the water to rescue her as a last resort.
Yeah, it's one of the last resorts for us. And there's a lot of other ways we'd rather go than actually have to get into the water. It's just unpredictable. It's not like a stream, out in the woods that you can see what's going on. You got very murky water that's moving really fast. We don't like to get in higher than the knee to make that move. It was a little higher than that, but we were really out of options there, and it wasn't real clear whether the water was continuing to rise or was on its way down.
That was Captain Harris. He's from Station 22, and there have been about four to five swift water rescue calls for Tucson Fire. Station 22, they've been a part of 2 rescues here on the southeast side. Live from the southeast side, Kevin Adger, Fox 11, Tucson Now.
Thank you, Kevin. That was certainly dramatic. And the storms rolled in early this afternoon and packed a severe punch across Tucson and the surrounding areas. Some homes do not have electricity at this hour, and others need repairs. In the harder hit parts of town, rain fell sideways, fierce wind toppled trees, power poles crashed down. Look at the damage right there. The Tucson Fire Department handled at least 19 storm-related calls before the storm subsided. And it was not just Tucson that got slammed by this storm.
And more video to show you tonight. The severe weather also hammering parts of Cochise County. Take a look at this. This is See It, Snap It, Send It video that was sent in by one of our viewers. One of the drivers blocked by a flooded wash along J6 Road near Mescal Ranch, just outside of Benson. And in Benson, a woman's car got stuck in a wash in Ocotillo Road. She called 911 as the water came inside of her vehicle and went up to her seat cushion. Fortunately, police were able to free the woman from her car and get her to safety. First Alert meteorologist Dan Bronis showing us where the storms are now. It's been a very busy day. Is this the end of the storms?
You know, it looks like for today we are clear, we're dry, we're not seeing anything else. And actually, as we go through the weekend, I don't think there's a huge risk of seeing storms, but we do have stuff in the forecast. We'll get to that later on in the show. Here's what happened. The storms fired up right near the Huachuca Mountains, created outflow. That outflow created some storms right south of the city, built up, sat there, dumped rain, and on that ground that's so hard this time of year, that rain had nowhere to go but the washes. That's why we had that water pretty high up and flowing very fast. There's a live look at the radar now. Nothing but clouds. We have no rain to talk about. That cloud cover we saw all afternoon to the evening, that's really stopping any storms from firing up this evening. Here's a picture sent to us. Look at that lightning strike from the south side. Really dark clouds. Had a lot of pictures in today, and some actually awesome pictures. If you have any, please send them to us. We would love to see them. Tomorrow, waking up, 79 degrees, a very mild start to the day. Clear, partly cloudy skies, mostly clear skies. 97 by lunchtime, quiet weather. But tomorrow afternoon, isolated storms possible. The best chance, Cochise County. But we will be talking about storms through the weekend. More details coming up a little bit later on in the show.
Thank you, Dan. At this moment, Tucson Electric Power says about 1,100 homes across town still without electricity.
The TEP also telling us about 24 power poles were knocked down by today's storm. Fox 11's Matt Mendez has been following all of the damage today, and he's joining us live with more on that. Matt?
Well, this is about as close as we can get. We're on the south side near the airport at Park and Valencia. TEP crews are on the ground right now trying to assess the damage, like this power pole right here that snapped. I'm told there are a couple dozen of these snapped here, and more than 1,000 people are still without power tonight. The monsoon storm had plenty of punch, knocking down power poles across the city. This video is of Wilmot and I-10 on the southeast side at the Chevron station. Crews spread out to the south side where most of the damage is. Right now, Valencia is closed between Campbell and Nogales Highway, and that may not reopen until tomorrow. TEP crews are reminding people to stay back from downed power poles and to report them to 911. If you can, avoid the area if at all possible.
Just staying in after this. We were coming out to get food, and that's, yeah. I guess after this we're going to go home and try to avoid this.
And there's no estimated time for the power to be restored to those 1,100 people. Stay with Fox 11 and KOLD for any late-breaking updates. Reporting live on the south side tonight, Matt Mendis, Fox 11, Tucson Now.
Thank you, Matt. And as he just mentioned, people still without power, still a developing situation. And remember, Fox 11 and KOLD News 13 is your source for all your monsoon coverage. Keep you updated. That's what we will do at TucsonNewsNow.com.
And make sure that you have our smartphone news and weather app so you can get all the latest information right there in your hands when you are at home or if you're on the go. And other local news tonight, putting a stop to red light cameras. A local citizens group that has been gathering petition signatures to ban Tucson's red light cameras turned them in today. The group says it has more than enough signatures to put the question on the November ballot so that voters can decide whether or not to keep them. Former legislator John Cromco heading the Tucson Traffic Justice Committee behind this latest effort. He says the cameras are about generating revenue for private companies that now run them. Tucson police say they support the cameras because, according to their statistics, cameras reduce collisions and make intersections safer by changing the behavior of drivers.
A man is in the hospital tonight after a house fire in Midtown. The fire started near Broadway and Swan. Investigators blame an electrical problem. Crews got the fire under control within 20 minutes of the original call. 23 Tucson firefighters worked to keep the flames from spreading throughout the home. You can see the couch right there destroyed by the flames. Damage is estimated at $15,000.
Much more ahead on Fox 11 tonight. A local group raising a new call to prevent gun violence.
Plus, deadly clashes continue in Egypt 2 days after the military threw out the president. You are watching Fox 11 Tucson Now. I'm Craig Thomas.
And I'm Heather Rowan. Right now on our website, you can track summer storm activity anytime by using our live Doppler radar tool. You can click the the weather tab at TucsonNewsNow.com. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The town of Marana and Northwest Fire standing by their decision tonight to launch fireworks at yesterday evening's 4th of July show. This video shot by one of our viewers showing just how bright that fire was near the Santa Cruz Wash in Marana. Marana spokesperson Rodney Campbell telling us the town took the right precautions by having a fire crew on the scene. Campbell says the town chose the location because it wasn't close to any homes. It took Northwest firefighters about 15 minutes to put out the flames. The good news is nobody was hurt.
And a new jobs report out today showed some good news for our economy. The Labor Department counted 195,000 new jobs last month and actually added 70,000 to its original figures for the number of jobs in April and May. The unemployment rate held steady at 7.6% as more people entered the labor market. Now, jobs were added in construction and healthcare, and an even bigger increase in hiring by retailers. The biggest jump in hiring actually came in businesses that cater to non-essential spending, and the administration says that's a sign of increasing confidence in the economy.
Restaurants and bars, or arts, entertainment, recreation, retail trade, those industries have grown more strongly the last couple of months, and I think that's a sign that consumers are feeling more confident.
But there's always a little bad news. The number of people working only part-time, though those people might want full-time jobs, that number made its biggest jump in 8 months, which indicates a lot of those new jobs created are actually not full-time.
In international news tonight, what had been a relatively peaceful change of power in Egypt has turned violent. Government troops opening fire on mostly Islamist protesters in Cairo today. Eyewitnesses say soldiers fired on the crowd. 3 people were killed and many more people were injured. And tonight, supporters of ousted President Mohamed Morsi clashed with anti-Morsi activists in the city. There were reports of at least 17 people killed in the clashes nationwide. All of this comes following massive protests against the unpopular Morsi, then the ousting by the Egyptian military this week of the president and the dissolution of his government. Well, coming up on Fox 11 Tucson Now tonight, Mayor Rothschild and Congressman Grijalva joining gun violence survivors in a new push to expand background checks on gun sales. We'll have details in a live report.
But first, Dan has a check on your weather. Dan.
Well, pretty rough this afternoon. Here's a live, well, not a live look, but a recorded look of what it looked like out in McNeil, Arizona throughout the day. Started off the day with a lot of sun. That actually helped us warm up those temperatures enough to get some storms out there. There it was, 100 degrees again before those storms rolled in this afternoon. Looks like we're going to continue that 100-degree streak as we go into the weekend. More details coming up next.
Here's your Fox 11 Tucson Now First Alert forecast. It's about time, your time.
Good evening. Pretty rough weather out there this afternoon. That created a lot of standing water. And look at this video sent in on the south side. This is in between Tucson and Vail, pretty much far southeastern Tucson. You can see that water just sitting on the street. That water had absolutely nowhere to go. People are actually, yeah, that is a boat. People are rowing a boat down the street. That's how much water was standing there. Let's take a look at our weather graphics and our dew points. This is the key number we like to look at to see exactly how wet we were. And look at that. We went up to 57 today after 51. So our dew points really haven't been all too dry. Every day above that average, that magical line, that green line, 54. Once we hit there, we're probably going to see some storms every day as long as we have something to trigger them, and that's what happened. Look at those dew points right now across the state. The whole state pretty muggy. 69-degree dew point, Tucson. That's unheard of for this time of year. It's usually closer to end of July, August. 66-degree dew point, Sierra Vista, 61 even in Phoenix. No rain up in the capital. Look at the temperature difference from this time yesterday compared to now. We are 19 degrees cooler, 16 degrees cooler in Sierra Vista than this time last night. Those storms brought in the cool air, and it just stuck around through the day. We never really warmed up after those storms left the area. Current temperature sitting at 79 degrees, Tucson, 70 Sierra Vista, 87 Safford. No rain in Phoenix. Temperature still almost 100 degrees at 98. Flagstaff sitting right around 70 at this time. All right, so as we go into the overnight hours, we're not expecting much of a change in the weather from what we saw this evening. The clouds sticking around, no rain to talk about. We're watching some moisture out of Mexico that could creep its way into the state as we go through the overnight. I don't think that happens. We're going to lose a lot of the energy. That cloud cover really just not creating much energy at this time. High pressure in charge. The problem with that is it's sitting right over Arizona, so we're not getting much of a flow. Those storms that pop up are going to be isolated through the weekend. They're going to stall in one place and just dump that heavy rain. That will be the case through the weekend. But the good news is we're not looking at a major threat of seeing rainfall both Saturday and Sunday. That high shifts off back towards Nevada in the middle of next week. That's going to give us an easterly flow. Better chance of seeing some rain. Now, the good news, these storms will actually move next week. They're not going to just stall out in one place, so we're not going to see heavy rainfall in one localized area. All right, going for 106. Yeah, we warm up with that drier air in place. 106 on Sunday, partly cloudy skies. Going 104 Monday, 20% chance of rain every day next week, and our temperatures sitting right around 100. But as I mentioned, those storms that do pop up, they're going to be moving next week, not just like today where those storms popped up, sat in one place for hours, and just dumped about 2.5 inches of rain in Vail.
Which makes you want to get out your boat and
road on the street.
And
That's
road
just
on your street.
Incredible video seeing that.
Yeah.
It's Arizona, and you don't see that too often
No.
here, but powerful storms.
Yes, thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Well, coming up next on Fox 11 Entertainment News, Johnny Depp's remake of The Lone Ranger was supposed to saddle up some pretty big bucks at the box office, but there's already talk it could be riding off into the sunset after a disappointing opening.
Plus, find out why Justin Timberlake's brand new music video banned from YouTube.
Only on Fox 11 Tucson Now, the Lone Ranger may not make it to the top, and Justin's girls weren't wearing tops.
Fox's Dominic DiNatale explains all in the Hollywood Nation.
Stranger Danger, Justin's Too Sexy, and Ringo celebrates in the Hollywood Nation.
Take a trip around the world, hey, hey.
Ringo Starr turns 73 on Sunday, and on his website he has a personal message to all his fans, hoping they share peace and love. He'll spend his birthday with family, and he'll be back on tour with his all-star band beginning in October. Justin Timberlake's Tunnel Vision music video is getting a lot of buzz thanks to the appearance of 3 nude women. YouTube has already banned the 7-minute video. The song is the latest single from his album, The 2020 Experience.
What?
The new trailer for Vince Vaughn's Delivery Man is out. The actor plays a sperm donor who fathers 533 children. The film is a remake of the Canadian comedy Starbuck, and it hits theatres November 22nd. And Disney's The Lone Ranger is looking like a big budget bust after taking an underwhelming $19.7 million on Wednesday and Thursday. The film, starring Johnny Depp, reportedly cost more than $220 million and was projected to have huge numbers over the July 4th holiday weekend.
Let's do this.
In Hollywood, Dominic DiNatale, Fox News.
I knew that it was probably very expensive, but that is out of this world.
I was thinking 150.
Right,
Maybe
so was I, which, you know, is reasonable.
Well,
you get into the 200s and...
Johnny Depp himself probably needed 50.
I know.
Right? So.
When you always think the eyeliner, that's the magic trick. Apparently not.
Apparently we learn something new every day.
We've got more news and weather straight ahead.
You're watching Fox 11 Tucson Now. Don't go away.
Well, I wanted to take you through the day hour by hour just to see what we had throughout the day, because we had a little bit of everything. This is at 6 o'clock this morning. You can see 6:30, a lot of sunshine. We started off the day very warm at 88 degrees. Well, we were able to warm up around 100 degrees by 1 o'clock. Those storms hit, look at that, within an hour. 77 degrees the temperature dropped to, heavy rain around the Tucson metro area. 6 o'clock this evening, 73 degrees. We never warmed up. That sunshine continued. And even right now, we're sitting at about 80 degrees in Tucson. A fairly nice night outside after that rain. 35 days in a row, 100-degree plus days. We actually hit it for 7 minutes, only 7 minutes today, but it counted. So we're in the 4th longest streak ever for Tucson. It looks like if we hit 100 tomorrow, we're going to keep this streak going, and we could break that all-time record of 40 days in a row. I'll have more details coming up later on in the show.
Rescuers work fast to save a man trapped on a small island in the middle of rising floodwaters.
Our top story as we go around the world in 80 seconds with Fox's Jamie Colby.
China. Firefighters say the guy was stranded about 300 feet from the shore. As the water got higher, crews rigged a rope system to reach him. They sent a life jacket and a small float across the line. He made it to safety about an hour later. Peru. Students battled cops outside Congress in the capital city of Lima. The protesters say they're fighting new education laws that would toughen standards at universities. The fighting broke out as police blocked the government offices. Some demonstrators hurled rocks. Police fired back with tear gas and water cannons. India. Some 10,000 people are reportedly still missing after monsoons devastated a northern province. Officials say the storms last month brought torrential rains and triggered landslides. The deadly weather has killed more than 1,000 people and left thousands more homeless. Crews now saying they're making progress in restoring damaged roads. Thailand, a fitness boot camp for pot-bellied police in the capital city of Bangkok. It's part of the country's push to get officers in better shape. The 12-day program includes a regimen of running, yoga, and health seminars. The cop who sheds the most pounds wins a cash bonus. And that's a wrap on this Fox trip around the world in 80 seconds.
Much more ahead on Fox 11 Tucson Now on this Friday. The gun control debate continues here in Tucson. We'll have details on a new effort to prevent gun violence by expanding background checks on sales.
Plus, good news. We have the latest on the Yarnell Hill fire that's burning near Prescott as crews make new progress tonight.
Now, in high definition, it's about time, your time. Fox 11 Tucson Now. News at 9.
Once again, good evening, and thank you for sticking with us. I'm Craig Thomas.
And I'm Heather Rowan for Teresa Junn tonight. Well, efforts to expand background checks on gun sales are currently stalled in a divided Congress. A Senate bill voted down earlier this year.
But gun control activists not giving up. Tonight they held a rally right here in Tucson to call for new action to prevent more gun violence. And Fox 11's J.D. Wallace was there. He joins us live with more on this renewed local effort. J.D.?
Well, Craig, since noon today, about 100 people, part of a nationwide drive, about 25 states in 100 days. They were here since noon today, reading the names of thousands of gun violence victims that have lost their lives in the 6 months since the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. And among the people here today was Neil Heslin, who lost his 6-year-old son, Jesse Lewis, that day. Now, survivors of the January 8th shooting were also here in Tucson. People such as Daniel Hernandez and Pam Simon, who worked for then Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, were here tonight, among others who survived that day. This effort, No More Names, pushes for universal background checks as one of the ways to curb gun deaths. Heslin showed us pictures of his son Jesse and says even though the shooter at Sandy Hook took guns that were bought legally by his mother, universal background checks in all firearm transactions are a logical next step to curb violence.
It could have. It would have put up a red flag. I feel it could have identified him. It's not to say that it would have prevented it. It's not to say that it would have stopped it any more than an armed police officer would have or could have. But it may have cut down on the deaths.
Members of No More Names say they're confident that this gun control bill will come back before Congress and that they urge Arizona Senator Jeff Flake to vote yes this time. Reporting live on the Northwest Side, J.D. Wallace, Fox 11 Tucson Now.
And former Arizona Congresswoman Gabby Giffords is traveling around the country, too, talking about gun control. And today, she called on New Hampshire's political leaders to have courage in the fight to expand background checks on gun purchases. Giffords and her husband, Mark Kelly, are on a 7-state tour to press for the background check legislation. This is video from their parade appearance in Ohio. That was yesterday. And Kelly bought a new rifle today at a gun shop in a small New Hampshire town. And that shop is a popular stop for Republican politicians when they court voters during presidential campaigns. A federal judge unsealed about 60 documents in the case against convicted Tucson mass shooter Jared Loughner. The documents released include the original criminal complaint against Loughner and search warrant materials. The court also revealed today taxpayers paid almost $1.1 million for Loughner's defense. Jared Lee Loughner was sentenced last November to 7 consecutive life sentences plus 140 years. He pleaded guilty to 19 federal charges for killing 6 people and wounding 13 others, including then Congresswoman Giffords, back on January 8th, 2011.
It started because of a lightning strike 1 week ago today, but by tomorrow, fire officials say they're hoping to have all the evacuees back in their homes. The Arnell Hill fire is burning approximately 30 miles southwest of Prescott off of State Highway 89, but there is new progress to report on this massive fire. The wildfire is now 90% contained. So far, though, it's destroyed more than 100 homes and burned 13 square miles. Remaining crews working to build more fire lines around this. It's burning in very rugged terrain to make sure this fire does not spread. Meanwhile, Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake were in Prescott today after meeting with the families of the 19 firefighters who were killed fighting the blaze on Sunday. McCain says all the relevant agencies will be investigating the causes of this tragedy, but he also said that he thinks bad weather is to blame.
And obviously, Senator Flake and I are not prepared to draw any specific conclusions, except to say that, as far as we can tell, that this terrible tragedy was not something that was preventable. A freak movement of wind shift that took place is the primary cause.
Senators McCain and Flake say they're hoping to open up a dialogue in the Senate about compensation for victims' families when natural disasters like this occur. They've also said they've been talking about using private companies to clear and cut older dead trees, which could act as kindling for wildfires. And Vice President Joe Biden will be attending a special memorial service honoring the 19 fallen firefighters on Tuesday in Prescott. That's coming from a senior administration official. The 19 men killed on duty last Sunday were members of the Prescott Fire Department's Hotshot Unit, an elite squad that fights wildfires on the front lines. Their deaths marked the deadliest day for American firefighters since 9/11. And our coverage of the wildfire tragedy in Arizona continues right here on the air, online, and on your mobile device. So you can look for updates on KOLD News 13 and on Fox 11 and on our website at TucsonNewsNow.com. We also have it right there on our Facebook page and on Twitter. We're also pushing alerts to the Tucson News Now mobile app. Craig?
Dramatic new images from monsoon 2013. Crews have been busy. Several swift water rescues happening around the valley, and look at these pictures. This one was on South Houghton and Valencia. The fire crew found a sedan with a family of 4 inside, and the car you see surrounded by fast-moving water. Firefighters carried the children out of the water and then escorted the adults to safety. And then just down the way, 15 other vehicles were stranded. And this is just another reminder, please, during monsoon storms, know that washes can rise very quickly. Moving water, even a foot deep, can carry away most vehicles and can knock you off your feet. Dan?
A lot of heavy rain on the south side of town today, and that's why we saw those washes fill up so quickly that water just had nowhere to go. It's always best never to travel through any water on the road, regardless of how deep you think it is. Best thing, just turn around. Temperatures today, before the storms hit, we hit 100 in Tucson, but afterwards we were in the 70s all afternoon and evening. It felt great outside, just extremely muggy. Now, as we go through tomorrow and overnight tonight, temperatures are going to stay relatively stable tonight. We're not going to see a huge temperature difference. We're seeing at about 80 now. We're going for a forecast low of around 80, so not much change. But tomorrow, those temperatures rising again. We could hit 100. We may not. A chance of isolated storms, not too likely. Best chance, Cochise County and the higher elevations. I'll have more coming up in a little bit.
The mothers of George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin both taking the stand in Florida today. Each woman insisting it was her son who could be heard screaming in the 911 call from that deadly evening.
I can't see him. I don't want to go out there. I don't know what's going on. So they're sending.
Ma'am, that screaming or yelling, do you recognize that?
Yes.
And who do you recognize that to be, ma'am?
Trayvon Benjamin Martin.
Do you know whose voice that was screaming in the background?
Yes, sir.
And whose voice was that?
My son, George.
And are you certain of that?
Because he's my son.
Late this afternoon, the prosecution rested its case. Zimmerman's defense resumes in Florida on Monday morning.
New at 9, Pope Francis clearing John Paul II for sainthood, approving a second miracle attributed to his intercession. The decision comes after John Paul garnered support from a group of bishops and cardinals. Francis also canonized another pope, John the 23rd, even though a second miracle has not been attributed to him. The ceremonies for both will likely be held at the end of the year, possibly December 8th, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception in the Catholic Church. Well, just ahead in sports, the Arizona Diamondbacks try to get back on track against the Rockies while paying tribute to the Prescott Hotshots. Dave Cooney coming up next with that. You're watching Fox 11 Tucson Now tonight. I'm Heather Rowe.
And I'm Craig Thomas, and right now on TucsonNewsNow.com, follow summer storm activity. Get full details on what you need to know for your weekend forecast. Just click the weather tab at the top of the page.
It's about time. Your time. Fox 11 Tucson Now Sports.
We're going to try to do our best to bring back a little bit of healing and hopefully a little bit of entertainment.
And nothing can give back to those families what they lost, but whatever we can do to help, we're going to try and do.
All right, so D-backs and Rockies starting up a 3-game set as the NL West lead. It's tight, but everyone's thoughts before the night began really had nothing to do with baseball. It was the D-backs' first home game since the 19 Arizona firefighters were lost in the Yarnell fire, and the D-backs, I mean, they really did it right, as they hosted a pregame tribute to the families and friends of those lost. Uniforms tonight, you saw it right there, all black, all with the number 19 with Yarnell over the name banner. As 45,000 fans in attendance tonight, a sellout, and Tyler Skaggs, though, stole the in-game headline, just called up today from Reno. He actually pitched here in Tucson about a month ago. And how about 8 innings pitched, no earned runs as the D-backs shut out the Rockies to complete this emotional night. 5-0 was your final from Chase Field tonight. The Star-Spangled Spectacular continues at Keno Stadium tonight as the Padres host their second fireworks show in as many days. Las Vegas, the Mets' AAA affiliate, featuring injured New York shortstop Ruben Tejada on the rehab assignment here. And early on, Tejada showing off some glove work right there, going deep in the hole on the grounder, and he's going to throw out Padres pinch hitter Kalian Sams by just a whisker. And this is the guy who replaced Jose Reyes, FYI. One's at Vegas in the third, and they're going to add to that lead on a 2-out RBI single by Zach Lutz right there. And on this night, that is all the 51 starter Matt Fox needed as he gets more great defense, this time from second baseman Wilmer Flores, and that's going to save a run. And right now we sit at 2-1 in the 7th inning. Damian Alameda, he'll get your final coming up tonight at 10. We're going to do some NBA. Is the grass really greener on the other side? For some NBA free agents, they will find out. One thing we do know is that there is more green, period, as in paycheck today. We'll start with former Wildcat Andre Iguodala, who will move west from the Rocky Mountains as the free agent leaves Denver to join that young and talented Warriors team. Golden State and Iggy agreed to a 4-year, $48 million deal today, and this is going to be fun to see. You got Steph Curry at the point, Iguodala at the 2. Oh, by the way, Sacramento had reportedly been ready to shell out a 4-year, $52 million deal, but pulled the plug when they thought Andre might be stalling, according to ESPN, waiting on a better gig. All right, and so, you know, the Warriors, they've been working the phones. They were also interested in the service of a Mr. Dwight Howard. This is just a bizarre story all day. It turned into an interesting day as multiple sources reported he had agreed to a deal with Houston, and then hours later he said he was 50-50, sparking a Twitter Dwight bash fest. And then Dwight tweeted this pic I'm about to show you as his avatar right there just a few hours ago. So I think it's final. The Rockets cleared up some cap space as D12 will basically demand a max salary, and the details of that salary just not ironed out just yet. So we'll find out more tomorrow. Tennis to Wimbledon men's semis where top seed Novak Djokovic and Juan Martín del Potro, talk about a long day. They made history playing a record 4 hours and 43 minutes after 5 sets of quality tennis, and it was Djokovic who came away the victor. The Joker now will face second seed Andy Murray, who bested Jerzy Janowicz in 4 sets to reach his second consecutive Wimbledon final. We'll see those two match up on Sunday. Lastly, U of A diver Sam Pickens advanced to the women's 1-meter finals to lead Team USA on Friday, and this is some file footage we have of her. The opening day, that will be the opening day of the University Games in Russia in the final. That is set for Sunday. More with Damian Alameda at KWLD at 10, and we're coming right back.
Here's your Fox 11 Tucson Now First Alert forecast. It's about time, your time.
Good evening. Pretty quiet night outside right now compared to what we saw earlier today. We're not seeing anything like we had outside about noon, 1, 2 o'clock. We are dry. We are quiet. Temperature, very nice. I just walked outside. You could feel the humidity. It is awfully nice outside, though. 79 degrees at current temperature, just our dew point's up near 70, so our humidity at about 65 to about 70%, and you could feel it. Well, if you want to hit the pool tomorrow's looking like a good day. I think our rain chances stay away. Best chance, Cochise County. We're only looking at about a 30% chance then. Say about 10% chance for Tucson. 10 o'clock, 90 degrees, up to 97 by noon. We may actually not hit 100 tomorrow. Some models are putting us at 98. Another one's putting us at 101. So we went with 100. I think we may just actually hit it, considering we're not going to have a whole lot of moisture in the air tomorrow, not like we had outside today. High pressure slowly moving from Utah back over to New Mexico. That is why those storms didn't move a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot of flow right now around that high. The largest flow you'll find is well away from it, and we're kind of towards the center. And that will be the case through the weekend. So if we do get storms to develop tomorrow or Sunday, they're not going to move a lot. It's going to be like today. They're going to just sit in one spot and just dump that rain onto the ground. Not a whole lot outside, as I mentioned, just a lot of clouds, keeping our temperatures very stable. We're not going to see much of a change through the night. I think by tomorrow, more sun in the forecast. That's going to increase our temperatures back up to around 100. Wider view, watch that moisture out in Mexico. I think that will stay there overnight, but that possibly could just send a surge of moisture again up here tomorrow. Some models not really indicating a whole lot, but we'll watch that. Don't think we see any rainfall. That might actually just hold off until Sunday. Let's take you through the hour by hour. Those clouds just not going anywhere overnight tonight. Tomorrow, a little bit of sun. You can see out towards western Arizona, a lot of sun. Eastern, those clouds sticking around. No rain, though. Our model's not picking up on anything. As we go into Sunday, a little bit more moisture creeps up from Mexico. We have a better shot of seeing rain on Sunday than Saturday, but the best chance will be next week through the week. It's not really looking like any day. One day in particular we're going to get nailed on, but some days we could actually have some storms, especially across Cochise County, that could be severe. 89 tonight, Phoenix. We're going to sit at 79 all night. That's where we are right now. No temperature swing at all. 81 Casa Grande. We're going 54 for Mount Lemmon. Hopefully nice temperature up there. 76 tonight out in Benson. 90 Prescott. 110 in Quartzsite. The heat's on across western Arizona. 105 Phoenix. We're going for 100, the 36th day in a row tomorrow. 104 Casa Grande, 75 atop of Mount Lemmon. We're going 89 Tombstone and 91 in Porto, and 105 for Tucson on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies, mountain storms possible both Saturday and Sunday. Best chance Cochise County. Monday, well, we introduced the chance of rain back in Tucson, going 104, 101 on Tuesday, 100 late next week, and Sunday, that's day number 37 of 100 degrees in a row. That will tie the third longest streak set back just a few years ago in 2007. And as you can tell, those hundreds continue, so we could have a new record by the end of next week.
Thank you, Dan. Today was a perfect example why, if you don't have it yet, you need to download the Tucson News Now weather app for your iPhone or your Android device.
And once you do it once, I promise you, you will be doing it all the time. You can track monsoon storms with our live Doppler radar and get warnings and alerts sent straight to your smartphone. You just search Tucson News Now, all one word, in your app store.
You're watching Tucson's only one-hour newscast at 9 o'clock.
We'll be right back.
The U.S. resumes all flights to and from Mexico. At least 6 U.S. airliners had to ground dozens of flights yesterday out of Mexico City and Tlaxcala airports after a volcano erupted. The volcano spewed a mile-high plume of ash. You see some of it right there. Drifted over large parts of Mexico City. Airport authorities in Mexico City say United and American Airlines resumed flights on Thursday night. No reports of any cancellations at either airport today. Water rushed onto the streets, and we were there as cars got stranded right there. You see it. It's another good reminder. Please do not drive over flooded streets. Inside of this car, a family of 4 had to be rescued. Everybody is okay tonight.
This looks like a hurricane, but this happened right here. Look and listen. This is the fury of our monsoon today. This was seen by one of our viewers, so keep sending us your video and your pictures of the storms. You're helping us tell the story. It's the best way we can do it. Our monsoon coverage continues when you switch it over to KOLD News 13. We'll see you in just a minute.